Hello Studscribers, Red Suit Studs here. Have you ever wondered what a lightsaber would look like if it was built completely out of Lego bricks? Well, today we're going to find out just that. So last month I went to Schaumburg, Illinois to go to the Brickworld convention that they were holding there, and I got to see a lot of cool stuff. They had a whole bunch of mocks on display, like some Nintendo game themed stuff. There was some cool like Game Boys that they had replicated. There was some album cover art that they redid that was really cool. But my favorite thing that I saw was probably the Bricker Builds area of the convention. Now, if you don't know what Bricker Builds is, it's basically a company that does like a whole bunch of different mocks, and they sell the pieces and the instructions, or they can sell them separately. So they have a whole bunch of like Star Wars themed ones, they have like Nintendo themed ones, they have a whole bunch of different themes that they sell. But what was at the convention that I saw was there were a lot of cool helmets, and then there were also some lightsabers. And they have a whole bunch of different kinds, but the one that I ended up getting here was Darth Vader's lightsaber. They had lightsabers for Rey, Luke Skywalker, Obi-Wan. They had a whole bunch of different kinds. They had Mace Windu too, but you know me, I like red. I'm a Vader fan, so I got the Vader saber. And it looks like in here, there's just all the bags for the pieces, and I believe you can get the instructions online. But then there's also this little packet on the inside here. So basically it tells you a little bit about the designer who made it here, which looks like it's Louis Meany made it. So this isn't sponsored at all by Bricker Builds. I just really thought it was a cool product, and I wanted to make a video on it. So we're gonna build this up, and we're gonna check out how it looks. So now that we have our Darth Vader's Lego lightsaber built here in its full glory, we can show it off here. So it's actually pretty impressive how long they were able to make this saber, because at first I was thinking that it might be a little bit shorter just so that it's more sturdy, but it's actually kind of impressive. What they do here is they have these 2x10 red plates here that are kind of layered over these white 2x2 bricks that are then with panels on the side here to kind of keep everything together. And at first I thought it would be some kind of like Technic connection to keep everything together, but as you can see, it's only 2 studs wide, so it wouldn't really be able to fit that kind of Technic connection on the inside. So with how thin the blade actually is, it's pretty impressive with how sturdy they're able to get it, because you can see here, I'm kind of holding it, and it's not like it's really bouncing at all. Sometimes if you hold it the other way, it seems a little wobbly, but it's still sturdy enough that it doesn't come apart just by holding it up, which I thought might be the case because of how long it actually is. I was pretty surprised with how long they actually got it, because I was thinking with how sturdy it needed to be, it would be much shorter, but the length that they got on this is actually pretty comparable to what the length of an actual lightsaber would be, so it's pretty impressive that way. And then you can see also they kind of have this extra tip piece at the end, so once you're done doing this more monotonous kind of just square after square and plate after plate, you kind of cap it off at the end here with this kind of tip piece here, which is different from the rest of the build. So it's nice how the shape kind of fully comes together at the end there with that pointier blade. So the attention to detail with the blade already is pretty impressive. And basically, the way that it's put together here, I'll show you by taking some of the bricks off. You can see there's these 2x10 red plates. So I'll take some of these off here. Hopefully it doesn't bust open on me. But you take those off and you can see there's more 2x10s underneath there. So I'll kind of wiggle it apart here so you can see. The blade just comes off just like that. And then you have your hilt here, and it starts that build with the blade kind of starts in the hilt here. So you kind of have a foundation kind of in the middle here, and then it just keeps going. So it's in there really sturdily. It's really tight. It doesn't really have a loose connection at all. So it's a really sturdy build for how long they were able to make it. And speaking of the hilt, I'll give you a better look here, kind of with a 360 view. So the details that they were able to put into the hilt as well are really cool, because it looks very accurate to what Darth Vader's lightsaber actually looks like, down to the grip that's down here, where they use these flat tiles with the 1x1 slopes kind of to give that extra, that grip look on the bottom. And then there's also, they use these like 1x1 dots pieces with the translucent clear color to kind of give the effect of those lights or buttons on the side. And then they were able to give a really nice like rounded look to the saber, as opposed to a very blocky look, kind of like how the blade is pretty square. But the hilt itself, they were able to use these sloped pieces here And they gave it a nice rounded perspective here, so it actually looks really accurate to what an actual lightsaber would look like with the roundness, because they use all these round tiles here. So there's hardly any studs showing on the hilt itself. The blade has some, obviously, but I think the hilt is probably the most impressive part of this build. And I think that's kind of going to be the case with most of the lightsaber builds, because with the blade you can't really do much for artistic liberties as far as, oh, we could use this cool wire piece here and these clips to kind of make this perspective. There's not really much creativity you can come up with for the blade, but with the hilt here, the pieces that they chose to use here really gave the accurate look of Darth Vader's saber here, with the buttons and the wires and the lights on the side here and the grip here. So they used great pieces for the hilt here to kind of give that accurate look of Darth Vader's lightsaber. I'm also a big fan of how they were able to create kind of this slant here by the emitter, because they kind of use some of those 1x2s with the slopes there into the 1x1. So the pieces that they were able to use here for the emitter part, I think, are probably the most impressive, because they gave that nice slant, because that's exactly how Darth Vader's saber is, how it has that kind of curve up at the top of the emitter before the blade comes out. So the attention to detail here in the hilt is definitely impressive. And then I'll show you how easy it is to kind of just put the blade back. So if you wanted to display it with just the hilt, you could by taking that blade out. But it's super easy to just clip these plates back on here, because you just only have to take a couple off to be able to separate the whole blade basically. And then you're good to go again with that whole blade on there. And what's nice too is they also include bricks to build these stands here. So you kind of put one stand on the blade, one stand on the hilt, so you can kind of display it the long way, kind of horizontally setting down. So I'll show you that in just a second here, but it's really nice how they include these extra bricks to display it, because you'd think maybe they wouldn't include these because they just want you to build the saber, but I think they know that their audience are kind of the Lego Star Wars collectors that want to display stuff, so it kind of plays out like an 18+ set would, where you get like a display stand or a way to display it, because it's not so much for play, because like you can see, if you smash it against something, it's probably going to break. Granted, it is pretty sturdy, but I'm sure if you hit something hard enough, it would break really easily. But it's nice that they have these stands here so that you can display it. So you can see here, I already have that larger display stand over on the hilt side. So you just kind of put it in the middle where kind of the switch is here to display that side. And then if you go down to the other side here with the blade, the way that they have counted out the studs on the smaller one is it's perfect to go along with the 2 stud wide saber, because it just clicks right in there, slides right in, and you can even pick it up and it'll still be connected, so it's a nice tight connection, but it's not too tight. You can easily just slide it right back out, slide it right back in, so it's kind of the perfect way to display the lightsaber here, and it looks perfect when you have it all put together here. You can see how it's just kind of sitting on both of those stands there, and it looks really great kind of displayed in horizontal here on the desk. So all in all, I think the Bricker Builds Darth Vader saber here was definitely worth it. I got mine at a convention. It was $179.99. They have a bunch of other lightsabers on their website. They have like Obi-Wan's, Yoda's, Cal Kestis's, Rey's. They have a whole bunch of different ones, so they vary in price. But this one I think is definitely worth it. This video isn't sponsored by them at all. I just really wanted to do this video because I think it's a great product. They had a lot of good craftsmanship, especially with the hilt here. It's amazing how much detail they can pack into this small space here, and it's interesting the kind of pieces that they use too. So let me know in the comments what you think about the Bricker Builds lightsaber here. If you're going to pick one up yourself, go check out the website. I'll put the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.